I'm going to be presenting a case on a degenerative lumbar kyphosis. So going on straight away to the case, it was a male 70 years of age. He presented with severe back pain for the last 6 months, and the back pain was there before that, was not so severe, but in the last few months it had gone quite severe. His lower limb, bilateral lower limb radiation was there. He was having pain equally on both sides, on walking and standing as well. And this had been increasing since the last 3 years. His walking distance was progressively decreasing. He's now down to 300 meters. Neurologically, he was intact. There were no complaints as far as bowel or bladder control was concerned. He was a known diabetic, a known hypertensive, but otherwise a fairly active guy, a businessman, and active lifestyle. He had a past history of spine surgery around 5 years back. Somewhere other hospital was operated, and he was operated at the L4-5, L5-S1 level. So these were his X-rays. The AP X-rays showed a mild degenerative scoliosis with an apex at 3-4, and these are the flexion extension images, wherein you can see there's a lumbar kyphosis, which is not really correcting on extension. These are his standing X-rays, and I'm sorry for probably the poor visibility of these standing X-rays, but if you can understand from the lines, he's quite sagittally imbalanced to the front. His lumbar kyphosis is there. These are his parameters. He had a positive sagittal imbalance of around 13.5 centimeters. Coronally, he was well aligned. Coronal corpus was around 19.8. The apex was, fully looked from L2 to L4. There was a lumbar lordosis of around 3.9 degrees, tilt of 32.4, and sacral slope of 21.9 degrees. And this is how he looked like. We further investigated him. I'm going to run through the whole case so that we can start the discussion after that. So this is how his whole spine MRI looked like. He had no upper motor neuron signs. He had no myelopathic features. This is how his T2, which is on the center, and T1 images looked like at the mid-sagittal area. And you can see that there is an end plate depressed fracture at the L4 vertebra on the superior end plate. These are the foraminal cuts on the right side and the left side. And we can see that there is a fairly good narrowing on the left side at the L4-5 foramen and the L5-S1 foramen. Other foramens look narrowed, not so dramatically. This is how the axials look like. The maximum compression was at the 3-4 and the 4-5. And we can see that at L4-5, there's a laminotomy defect at the 4-5 level on the left side. L5-S1 also, there's a laminotomy defect. This is how the CT scans looked like. Sagittal CT scan showing multiple vacuum signs all over with a superior end plate fracture at the middle and the anterior part of the L4. So this is the case in a nutshell. So your first thoughts about the problem, and what are your thoughts? How do you want to proceed? If I may ask, Guru, I'm going to start with you. What are your first thoughts on this? So first question is, are you going to sort of be aggressive? He's 70. Are you going to be sort of straight away going to talk to him about a possible surgical requirement? Or are you going to sort of, slow down and do conservative measure and then take it forward?
It all depends on already what treatment he has undergone, and depends on the comorbidities what this patient has. In terms of diabetes, hypertension, asthma, I would like to have maybe a DEXA scan of 3 sides. So depending on all that, my basically decisions will be based. But then I would not like to treat the radiology here. It all depends on how much the patient is disabled because of all these problems. So depending upon that, I will carry forward my discussion with you.
So if I can ask Dr. Bhillare, what do you look for a patient when patient presents to you with, this type of deformity? What are the, routine investigations which you like to do? Is there anything else which you like to order apart from these? What is your protocol, or is your protocol the same?
So, till now, whatever has been investigated is up to the. I'll agree with Dr. Gururaj that I will also do a BMD in this, a bone marrow density. Flexion extension views has already been taken, adequate MRIs have been taken. Good foraminal compression at 455S1 is there. Neurologically is fine. So, investigation wise, everything has been done. Not anything else other than that, I would advise a routine fitness test for sure. If in an elderly gentleman, especially a long-standing symptoms, another thing which we tend to neglect but is of prime importance is the presence of DVT, because they don't walk much, and over the period of time DVT can occur. So a careful clinical examination to rule out DVT and also do a AV Doppler for them would help.
Sure. So the DEXA was done for this patient, and to be honest, the DEXA was not looking so bad, somewhere like minus 2.7, 2.6, so somewhere in that range. Dr. Nene, do you also look for the nutritional status of these patients? And if yes, how do you do about that? How do you sort of build up? Is there anything for us to learn? Would you be able to give us some pointers on that?
Actually, we did the study on sarcopenia and we realized that patients with sarcopenia don't do so well. But we also have follow-up data suggesting that you can't cure sarcopenia in a hurry. So here we have to address the elephant in the room, unfortunately. Like this is a case where, they do very poorly in my hands. I've had my worst results with these kind of cases, but I don't see any other way than to do a long decompression and fusion for him. How you do it is, you could go back front, but I think you got to cut the chase and end up with, I would love to refer this off to Samir or Gautam or someone who I really, really love, and, let it become their problem, because the morbidity in my hands is like 30-40%. I've had a few deaths also trying to fix these guys, but there's no other way. He's a 70-year-old active guy. You can escape for a year or two, but at some point you're going to have to bite the bullet.
Sure, I think the timer is running out and we're going to sort of get into the meat of the discussion. So what would be your management strategy? I'd like to know from everybody. We'll start from Bhillare again and then move this time. So I want you to take up these questions, front or back, MIS or open, and what will be your levels?
Yeah, so I would go open. I will do L2 to S1 decompression plus stabilization, because of the tricky thing was there was a foraminal stenosis at 5S1, and if you clinically feel that is contributing, then L2 to S1 is the way to go for me. We'll do 2-level at least T-lifts, probably 3 levels in this, 3, 4, 4, 5 and 5S1. Get a good as much possible as lordosis. Try to accept the deformity, whatever you get. Don't try to overcorrect. Don't try to get to the textbook sagittal parameters here. The less you do is better in these cases. And I will disregard the vacuum signs at a higher level.
Dr. Deshmukh, similar thoughts or different?
Yeah, exactly similar thoughts. Because it's almost getting fused anteriorly. If you can see the X-ray, 3, 4, 4, 5, both the levels is getting fused anteriorly. So it's almost auto-stabilized at these 2 levels. So just lesser is better in this scenario. I'll just decompress formally from 2 to S1 and probably fixation 3, 4, 5 S1, 3 to S1.
Guru?
So if the DEXA values are normal in the wrist,
Minus 2.7.
minus 2.7, and actually there is some end plate depression in the superior end plate of the L4, so that is just worrying me. But then in CT it looks like it is sclerosed. So I would do basically a 3-level OLIF with the posterior fixation with L5S1.
Do you think there's fusion at 3, 4, 4, 5 as
I don't think so. So it is trying to, but then these never fuse as such. It always goes on growing, but then they don't auto-stabilize until unless the disc height completely goes away and then they stabilize. So I would do a L1 to S1 with 3-level OLIF and L5S1 T.
So are you anxious about, the OLIF does a lot of, energy is put on the end plates. Are you anxious about the L4, L3 end plate not holding on and having subsidence, or it's okay for you?
So it's The end plates look sclerosed. That's the best part about here, because the CT, the depression, when you see in the X-ray, it looks like it is really osteoporotic, it is depressed, but it is sclerosed in the CT. So I'm not worried about that.
Sure. And are you going to decompress posteriorly?
Yes, yes.
So you're going to do an olive from the front, and then you're going to decompress as well from the posterior side and do an open fixation.
I would do a staged procedure. I would do a first stage olive and do an MRI, repeat MRI, and repeat whole spine X-rays. And based on that, I will decide what to do posteriorly.
Sure. Dr. Nene, you have already partially answered.
Yeah,
what you're
but
going
I'll
to
be T10 to pelvis. I don't think I'll stop short. T10 to pelvis, wide decompression, long, and a couple of levels of
And you'll
the
do
body from the back.
You'll do a posterior, all
from the back.
posterior.
Yeah, all posterior, followed by
Are
teriparatide.
you not in favor of doing a front olive or something?
Not good at olive actually, and I think this.
So your reservation is more technical rather than any.
help the time also. I'll be able to do it in one sitting. And we've got 2 surgeons working. It should not be so hard.
Actually, what I feel is, if we do olive, we can actually reduce the length of the fixation. If we go all posterior, I agree. Definitely, we'll have to go from D10.
Dr. Iyer, would you like to comment? What would you guys do there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the point in someone that's older like this and the pelvis makes a lot of sense. I think there's a consideration here for multi-level lateral. That end plate worries me in lateral. Indirect decompression probably, I think, would work just because it's a soft disc. I think if you can get even a little distraction in lumpectomy, I think the stenosis will probably correct itself, at least to the point where I wouldn't worry so much about that.
So it's a
causing symptoms.
5-year post-revision. So you think that...
Yeah, but there's nothing on the CT, it's a soft disc. I think indirect decompression is likely going to be sufficient in this. And I guess the other assessment would be if the patient is lying down, not very dramatic, which is the position you're getting the MRI, then I think it's lock them in.
So you're going to do a front olive followed by a posterior, is that so?
Yeah, that's a consideration, but truthfully, I think this patient would do best with a T. I think once you start getting into these multi-level lateral procedures...
Any apprehensions about not getting enough lordosis with the posterior procedure or something like that?
Not as much, because it's such a flexible deformity. So when the patient lays down, their lord corrects essentially into a... So I think if it was a rigid deformity, then I'd be much more... I think in this case, the point's already been made, like wherever they lay down on the table is... And I think...
So the deformity remains something like the lordosis really doesn't correct too much. If you see the flexion extension X-rays, even though you said it's a pretty flexible deformity, but if you see the flexion extension X-rays, it's not really correcting down. It remains in kyphosis, and even on lying down, it remains actually in a very minimal range of kyphosis. But anyway, point well taken. So I'll go ahead. So the idea basically was, can we create enough lordosis, and is olive a better option or TLIF? I'm sure, things in everybody's hand, whatever they are best at, would work. So what I did is a long T10 to S1. I didn't use iliac screws because iliac screws do come with their own issues. And I took the, I would say I took the bait and I stuck to S1 screws only. So patient was started on teriparatide immediate post-op. This is his post-op images. We got a fairly good balance back, and the patient is in early post-op, so I don't have a follow-up of this. But the parameters I thought were reasonably reduced. We got a pelvic tilt up to 22, sacral slope up to 31. Yeah, and this is what the final picture. I think that with that I end my case. Thank you so much.